Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and now game 1 in a series between mTw's SuperNova and mousesports' Hasu. SuperNova spawning as the red Terran player on the top left hand side of the map, meanwhile mousesports' Hasu spawning as the blue Protoss player. Now, I am still trying to get better as a caster, and I really want to appreciate all of you guys who are sticking with me, but I do want to add a little bit of a caveat. A lot of the pro casts that you guys see out there, the GSL casts, any of that major MLG or IPL tournaments, they really have 3 to 4 people. Actually, they have 4 people working on each stream, which is one of the reasons why you can actually get such a higher quality product than, say, watching this one-man shop and show here. They normally have 2 casters, 1 cameraman, and then 1 person actually controlling XSplit that helps you switch between different actions and different camera views so that you are never away from the action. Meanwhile, my old set of eyes can only keep track of the minimap, what's happening on the screen, make sure that I'm recording my audio correctly and controlling my XSplit as well. So those are all the things going on my end. Not that I use XSplit, I use another third-party software to actually increase my quality a little bit, but I do want to thank you guys for being a little bit patient with me. Now, Hasu, so far it looks like he will be going for that assimilator build right now, and it looks like it will be that standard one gateway expand most likely, as a lot of the games have turned into a much more economic style. We'll see what SuperNova is looking to be doing. He is going for an earlier refinery, and he is building a second barracks a little bit out of the way. So this may be 2 racks pressure, but this isn't going to be of the proxy variety. Now, if Hasu falls into the trap and expects an economic game, if he sets up that nexus earlier, and he isn't expecting, say, stimmed Marines and Marauders, he may not actually have enough gateways to mounter up a strong defense. Hasu will need a lot of sentries in order to force field this particular ramp. I do believe it takes 3 force fields to wall off that ramp there, and they have to be perfect force fields, otherwise units can still get up and down. SuperNova now looking to do a bit of scouting in the counterclockwise direction first. Meanwhile, let's take a look at what SuperNova is doing here. He is getting up that tech lab, and he has not added on an add-on here yet. And we do see that Hasu is going for this Nexus first, or the Nexus before any other production building is not a Nexus first, as the Gateway and Cybernetics core are already up and operational. Zealot now going to be trying to hold the center Zelnaga Tower, make its way up here. There are going to be a handful of Marines, and now 1 Marauder. Concussive Shell is going to be the first thing to be researched, as the Marauder now takes perhaps a look around. The Marines are now going to go back up onto the high ground, and with this wall off here, the Zealot's not going to get much scouting information. Hasu has seen that there is no command center at the natural, but he doesn't know what's going on inside the base. Normally, when you do see a wall off like this, you are expecting higher tech play, but not this massive army strategy that will be coming out. SCV is holding the center Zelnaga Tower here, and this SCV will be running away as a Stalker and a Zealot, both now controlling the center. Because of that center Zelnaga Tower, the Zealot and the Stalker will see these units already making their way down, and they are going to retreat, as Hasu now knows that he needs to warp in a whole bunch of gateways, get that warp gate tech up, and perhaps defend as quickly as possible. SCV coming around the side over here is going to run into a Zealot and a Stalker. These units are now going to try to sneak away, but that may not work out, as the Zealot is going to get stuck here, and that is a bad day, as Hasu losing an early Zealot. And what is this? A chain of SCVs. SuperNova pretty much moving in with an all-in here. Marines and Marauders are going to try to snipe down this Nexus. Not going to be a problem, as Stalkers are now making their way over. SCVs are going to be coming over as well, and this is going to be huge, as a bunker is going to be established. Alright, we may see a proxy pylon come in from Hasu, and he's going to try to set up and get up onto the high ground, but SuperNova, 1 step ahead of him, will clean that up, and that means that there will not be a base race in a 4-gate attempt. Hasu does have 4 operational warp gates now. Force field on the ramp there should be pretty easy. You can see a Zealot now trying to warp in. That Zealot's not going to be able to do very much of anything. considering that it is going to be going up against a Marine and a Marauder, but I'm not quite sure why they are not coming up to the high ground here to get off some shots and take this down. If the Marines and the Marauders just simply came up to the high ground, would be able to get off free shots onto these units, and that is going to be what's happening now. You can see some damage is being dealt. Marauders are up on the high ground, and here come the SCVs. Are they going to absorb some damage? Stalkers, Marines, Marauders, both sides battling out. Some SCVs will get taken down here. And how many workers have been killed? We are at 41 to 39. 4 workers killed by Hasu. Overall supply count 23 to 22. And after all of that play, we are pretty even. Let's take a look at the losses, though. Hasu has lost more, as he did invest into that Nexus and pretty much has nothing to show for it. Alright, we are going into double reactors now, and we'll see what will be happening next. Siege tanks being trained up. No siege tech just quite yet. Double reactors coming in on the barracks, and we may just have Marines and Marauders without stim and only concussive shells. There is combat shield on them as well. Siege tanks finally be added in here. Still no siege tech though, so we'll see what SuperNova's strategy will be. Alright, if SuperNova's strategy was to just put Hasu on tilt, that may have been exactly what he did there. You can see him now just trying to re-establish his base. His timings will be a bit off though, and if he can throw Hasu off of his normal timings, that may be enough for him to follow up with a very, very strong opening. Alright, still more siege tanks being added. Siege tech does not take that long to build or research. Medevacs now being added as well. More Marines will be trained. It looks like they could be quadruple trained if there was enough minerals. So far, SuperNova hurting in terms of being only on one base, but this one base play at the 10-minute mark still seems to be working out for him so far. Stalkers, sentries, zealots, probes now being transferred down to the low ground. Hasu going to be benefiting from less diminishing returns, as now assimilators being warped in as well. And now SuperNova may just be giving too much time to his opponent. We know that there is no stim researched, and that means that these medevacs and marine combinations are not going to be nearly as powerful. We'll see what will be happening here. Stalkers holding on to the center will be able to see this large army moving out. And what is this medevac looking to do? So far, Hasu income should be slightly better. Yes, if you take a look and include the gas, it is better there, since he is running up on 4 gas instead of 2. Main attack force is going to be moving out across the center as the Stalkers see this, and it could call a bait from Hasu to move out with his units. If he moves them away from this natural or from his main base, this will hurt, as the medevac now going to perhaps drop straight up inside the main. High Templar is ready to go, and here is a drop here. The medevac now split between the high ground and the low ground. And now what is going to be happening here, as the Stalkers are going to get off some easy shots. One probe not taken down, but that means that the front door is completely wide open. Siege tech is now done, and the Marines and the Marauders are in position. Here we go. Siege tanks are ready to go, starting to blast away. Probes are all stuck on the low ground. Stalkers on the high ground cannot get down this choke point. They'll take way too much splash damage. And SuperNova, playing a beautiful mind game, now has proper positioning here, as he's going to be able to clean down most of these units. Guardian shield is up, but because the zealots need to be within melee range, means that the Marauders and the Marines will still be able to clean this up here. Stalkers still up on the high ground. They know that they cannot try and engage at all, as another pylon and some additional simulators may fall. Bunker has now been established. Sight up onto the high ground, now possible. Here we go. Siege tanks now sieging up with some beautiful side storms. Cast right on to some Marines there. Can we perhaps get another side storm? That is going to be the question. No more side storm. The High Templars are taken down, and there is the GG. Well played by Hasu. Hasu realizing that SuperNova purely outclassed him in this matchup with this little bit of a bait drop, forcing Stalkers to get up onto the high ground here and here. Once the siege tanks were in position on the front door, there are no way that the Stalkers can make it down this ramp without absolutely getting pummeled and taking a lot of damage. 50 damage per shot against those Stalkers, and essentially Marines and Marauders would be able to just clean up the rest. SuperNova taking game 1 in this series. Stay tuned for game 2.